Matt, thanks for making time for us. How are you, my friend?
Gentlemen, good morning. Happy week 6 of the college football season. Can't believe we're looking at October now as we move through conference schedule.
It's week 0 for Arkansas, Matt. They've got to reset.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Starting over.
It sure is.
What are your thoughts?
Look, anytime you go into a season with a coach who now I think for the last year and a half has been mentioned on a hot seat, and you do what happened at Memphis, and then you get the doors blown off against Notre Dame. I was sitting there in studio on Saturday with E.J. Manuel and Joey Galloway, and I said, this probably is it for Sam. Just because when you look at where it's headed and where it needs to go, I'm not surprised that it happened. I'm always entertained, though, by these schools that we've seen already, Arkansas, UCLA, Virginia Tech, Oklahoma State. If it was that tenuous of a situation to do it this quickly in the season, why did we move forward in the offseason with it? And so now you have a number of schools, and to me right now, Arkansas, the best job of the lot, open, and we hadn't even reached October.
You kind of touched on it there, and that's where I'm wanting to go, Matt. Every fan base thinks that their job is the one every coach is going to want to come to. How is the Arkansas job viewed nationally? Do you think this is going to be a job that coaches gravitate towards?
Here's how I would answer that question. I'd say pre-12-team playoff era, probably not. Well, why is that? Because you're in the Southeastern Conference that just added Texas and Oklahoma. All of a sudden, Vanderbilt is a ranked team, and Mississippi State with Jeff Lebby's on the way up. And so you're kind of looking at this league prior to the 12-team playoff. Like, where do I stand in the grand scheme of this thing? Can I get to the SEC championship? Can I win the conference? Can I get to the playoff? Before that, probably not. Now, absolutely, it's an attractive job because Northwest Arkansas is a great place to live. It's a great place with a lot of money around it. And I think with the facilities, with some of the boosters that surround the program, if they want to wake up one day and say, you know what, with the money that we have in and around this area, let's all agree to commit our money to Arkansas football and go on a run, there is no reason whatsoever Arkansas couldn't be one of the 12 teams in the college football playoff. But, oh, by the way, that's probably going to expand. So now you're talking, a 16-team playoff? Mm-hmm. I mean, you're damn right you can win at Arkansas. And you just have to find the commitment to it. I mean, here's how you look at it and the footprint of it. I would say, and you guys would know better than me, but just some of the research that I do around college football, I'd say there's about 8 to 12 really, really top-notch high school football players in that area. Maybe 12 to 20. Okay, maybe that's a little low. You cannot let those kids get out of state. So you get the 10 to 12 to 15 best high school football players in the area. And then you go and take the footprint with the money and the commitment, and you go get Texas. You go get some out of Oklahoma. You go find that area, Arizona. Go get players from this region of the country. Dip down into Florida if you have to, and then start building it. I think it's a playoff job waiting to happen with the right resources and the right coach.
Matt, first off, I don't know if anybody's totally objective on Bobby Petrino, if you've been in college football as long as you or we have. So it's sometimes hard to hear what other people think outside of the state because they've had a history of not being a fan of Bobby for whatever reason. It's been a long time since he was here. I mean, 13, 14 years. When you hear this is what's happening, Petrino's the interim coach. He wants to be the longtime coach. He's basically auditioning for the job. What's your reaction to that?
I told someone the other day, I said, if you want to explain college football to a European or just an alien, go to Fayetteville and go to Morgantown, West Virginia.
That's great.
And look at I'm not going to tell them anything else. I'm just going to show them a slideshow of Fayetteville. I'm going to show them a slideshow of Morgantown with the faces that are now leading those programs, and that's how I would explain it.
Man. And for Petrino, it's twice. Louisville,
twice,
and now Arkansas.
I know. I just don't. It's unbelievable to me that this is happening. I mean, it like as much as the craziest stuff that we see in college football, and it really is the drunkest sport in America. You can't put in a sentence how bizarre it is that Bobby Petrino is once again leading the Arkansas Razorbacks, and that Rich Rod found his way home to more. I mean, it's just I can't explain it any more than that.
You know, the coaching culture, it's like pop culture. It's like its own culture. Like how we view coaches. They're the face of the programs. I mean, we talk about coaches more than we talk about any other topic in college football. Dabo, look at what's going on at Clemson. What did we think of Kalen DeBoer after the Florida State game? I mean, what this year just seems to be, and maybe we say this every year, but is the volatility of college football at an all-time high?
Oh, yeah. And it's not even close. And that's because until the injury, here's the example that I've used on TV a couple of times, and I use it here. It's no longer relevant because of an injury, but look at a guy like Brent Venables at Oklahoma, okay? Hot seat, hot seat, hot seat, not the guy, not the guy, not the guy. Well, wait, go spend some money on an offensive coordinator and a quarterback from Washington State. Now you got the Heisman favorite until he got hurt. Now Oklahoma's a great job, and Brent Venables is doing a great job. That's the volatility of the sport. You can make one transaction with a player and one transaction with the coach attached to the player, and everything's great. Look at the model at Vanderbilt. Not that Vanderbilt's one of those jobs where, you know, you're going to be on the hot seat every year. All Clark Lee did was go bring in half of New Mexico State with Diego Pavia, Jerry Kill in that program, and now they're ranked. And so the reason it's volatile now, Dabo, you brought up Dabo. Why is it volatile for Dabo Swinney? Well, because going into the offseason, all of us in the national media and anyone who talks about college football said, well, see, Dabo's doing it the right way. He's keeping the guys within his program, pays the guys that earn it, comes in with a loaded roster. They should be a playoff team. Oops, they're not. And so now it's volatile for Dabo. Why? Because he doesn't dabble in the portal and do it like everybody else. And so the common thought nowadays in college football, you can quick fix anything you want with money. You just do it. You just go get a quarterback. You can just go get a receiver. You can go get a running back. You just change it overnight. And that's why if you try to change it overnight and it doesn't happen, then the coach is going to be in some hot water.
Matt Hunter-Yurachek used a term the other day in the Petrino press conference that's usually associated with the NFL. He said advanced scouting. And given the portal and the prominence that it plays right now, I wonder if the definition of recruiting doesn't change a little bit and include things like programs with advanced scouting, programs that do things maybe others aren't doing, and the role that you think things like that might play going forward.
Oh, these coaches that I talk to on a weekly basis and kind of sit down with and just kind of get into the guts of the program and how they're doing it, that's exactly what they're doing. They're all bringing in a GM, and they're bringing in a general manager to do a couple of things. One, you got to keep the finances in order, to take a look around to see what kind of money you have to spend. Okay, so you take what kind of money you have to spend, and you go to the board, and you look at how much you want to spend per position group. So then you take a look at how much money is being put out for each position group. Then you look at needs. Okay, we have a need at this position. How much are we willing to spend on this? Then, once you've got all that figured out, you're going to the portal to see which names are in the portal, and then you start doing the scouting on the kid in the portal like NFL scouts do on the college kid coming to the NFL draft. What's his background? Who are his friends? How are his grades? Who does he hang out with? What does he treat people like when he's going out to dinner? Is he going to kill my locker room? Is he going to do this? And that's what's just going on at the college level now. It's just different because now you're taking a kid in the portal. Look, go in the transfer portal. I'll find you 10 different stories for a reason 10 different players are transferring. You just have to be the program in the school that vets the kid in the right way to make sure he's not going to kill your locker room. And that's where we are now. Why are they transferring, and how much money do you have to spend? And I build my roster with infusing it with high school talent? There are a number of coaches that will tell you, well, we do 75-25, 75 high school, 25 portal. Well, that's a lie. That's not true. I've looked at your roster. It's not 75-25. It's 50-50. And so I still believe the sweet spot in college football now, can you still recruit and develop, retain, and then plug holes with the portal? Find me a program that can do that. You're going to see the ones that are always competing for national championships.
Matt Barrie, ESPN, host of College Football Final, and so much more there at the mothership. We've seen every celebrity from Brett Favre to John Daly talk about, who maybe the next Arkansas coach should be. I don't know if John Gruden's been reached for comment yet for his own. John Gruden's been a candidate here for 25 years.
And lots of other places, too.
And Tennessee. Who are your thoughts? Like if our producer likes to put together a 10 or 15 top 10 or 15 list of coaches week to week, because it changes based on, whatever happened that week for fun. But if you were looking at a pool of candidates, who are some coaches you really like right now that would be viable for the Arkansas job?
So here's what I would do. The first thing that I would do, and this isn't going to be a revelation to anybody covering it. The first thing I would do is I'd kick the tires on Rhett Lashley. I'd see exactly what his mindset is. He has a good job there. For people that don't know about the SMU job in that area of the country, you probably should. I mean, there's a lot of money there. You get a lot of kids on the rebound from DFW, and you can win the ACC, as he proved in year one of the ACC, getting to the championship game. And so I'd kick the tires on him because of his ties to the program and see how aspirational he is about wanting to make a career jump to that level. Next guy I'd go with, and I don't know how this will be received in the area, but if they really start looking at what's going on at the program right now relative to where he had it when he got there, I'd go kick the tires on Dan Mullen at UNLV. He's a buddy of mine, and he's got UNLV 4-0. But can you tell me honestly that Florida is in a better spot now than they were when they moved on from Mullen in year 4 after 3 consecutive New Year's Six games in the SEC championship? So why not have a look at him and see if that's something that'd be interested in and see if it would work out? The other guy that I would look at that I haven't seen, and maybe it's out there and I've just missed it, why not go to a guy like Matt Campbell at Iowa State, who has taken a program at Iowa State in Ames, Iowa. That's not exactly a destination place, but he seemed to find a way to get it consistently good at a competitive level to compete for conference championships and a playoff berth. He's a program builder. He's a program sustainer. And at some point, Arkansas is going to have to look in a way where you find a guy who's at a good job and a bigger job that's led a revival of a program and bring them in. And I think Matt Campbell fits that. He's rumored for jobs all the time, but he's someone that I would take a serious long look at because of what he's done at a place that's really, really hard to win. And if the notion nationally is that it's hard to win at Arkansas, then find a guy that can win at another place. And the other guy that I'd look at, probably Alex Golesh, South Florida, former Tennessee offensive coordinator, offensive mind. I called their opening game against Boise State, kind of sat down with him. I've called a couple of his games, just got to know him a little bit. I think he'd be a fascinating choice just because he runs an entertaining brand of offense. So those are some names that I would probably kick around. But I would be careful about a coordinator, and I'd be careful about someone who doesn't have a lot of experience dealing with what it's going to contend with to be the head coach in the SEC. Enter Chad Morris in the conversation. You don't want to go that route again.
What a well-rounded conversation with Matt Barrie. Expected nothing less. Matt, we love your work. If you're not watching College Football Final, then you don't really care what's going on with college football. It's a great recap every week. What time do you guys get to bed on Saturday night?
So we get to the studio on Saturdays at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, and if it's a good night, like if Deion Sanders isn't screwing us out west with the late game, we can usually put the mics down at about 1:40 a.m. Eastern.
Jeez.
Hey, what's the conversation like in the studio when it's the last game and somebody calls a timeout with 42 seconds left and the issue's already been decided? There any profanity? In the studio?
This is E.J. Manuel's first year because he obviously took over for Dan Mullen, who got back into coaching. So E.J. is too new to be disgruntled. Joey's permanent setting is grouchy. And then me kind of being the quarterback of the operation, I just go, are you kidding me? The game's over. We don't need a timeout. Let's just move on, And I'm always trying to find a way to work smarter and quicker when we're doing college football final to see what we can put together before the game goes final. So, by the end of the night, when we've been hanging out with each other since 11:30 a.m. in the morning, we're kind of just ready to like wrap on and move on to the next week.
I hear you.
Hey, it's great
You guys
having
do
you
a
on,
great
man.
job.
You
really do a terrific job. We're lucky to be able to see it.
appreciate your time.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We appreciate you. Anytime. Good luck out there. Looking
Thank
forward
you.
to see what goes on the rest of the season. All right.
Good stuff, man. Talk soon. Appreciate it again. Matt Barrie, ESPN College Football Final. I mean, they really do a great job.